Enjoy the spooktacular taste of Diet Phantasma. It's scary how good it tastes. VHS Halloween is a Shudder original, and the 8th, yes 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 8th entry in the long-running found footage short film anthology series VHS. It started all the way back in 2012, and then we got VHS 2 in 2013. And then we got VHS Viral. One hardly needs to go on about that one because not only was it shorter, not only was it far more terrible than the previous two entries, which so are the tentpole position of the VHS franchise, but Viral nearly killed off the entire franchise to the point it lay dormant for 7 fucking years. And then Shudder picked up the rights and has been churning these things out in the last 5 years. Well, actually, the last 4 years, technically. Well, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Well, I guess 5, that would count. So VHS 94, and then we got VHS 80. We got VHS 94, which was the best one, and then we got 85, 99, and beyond. And I might be mixing up the order there. And unfortunately, after 94, which was a fine return to form with a few issues, ever since then, they picked a particular theme. Like, 85 wasn't the worst idea. There were nice moments. The 80s aesthetic was cool. But then 99 was like, oh, it's the millennium. And that joke kind of got run into the ground. And Beyond was a sci-fi theme where Stork was really the only good one. And I wasn't so sure about this particular entry because 94, that entry came out in 2021. And ever since then, it's been a vapid descent into meh. Well, since it's themed around Halloween, the potential was there for this to either be completely one note, or for it to be a raucous ride, or for it to be a mixed bag of everything Human Centipede together and presented to you all in the form of a 110-minute long latest VHS entry. That's basically what it is. The theme of Halloween actually does get worked pretty well. There are 3 motherfucking standout tapes. One in particular that I will talk about. 2 other tapes are okay. The wraparound story might actually be the weakest, or at least the most forgettable. So basically, here's how I'm going to describe this. I'm going to give just basically a light premise of these particular, things, and then I'll get into full spoilers a little bit later on. But I do want to know, what is your favorite VHS entry in the comments, please? What's your favorite tape? Mine is still Safe Haven, but there is one on here that is goddamn close to becoming one of my favorites. So, we have the wraparound story, This Diet Phantasma. It is basically taking place with a series of trials in the UK about a concoction that, let's just say, it has not really been made suitable for human consumption, and is definitely not good to put to market. That much I'll say right there. We have the first tape, Coochie Coochie Coo. 2 girls go out trick-or-treating and end up at the wrong house, which is kind of an urban legend, shall we say. And then basically we get to the next one. After we get we get the wraparound stories, we get sprinkled in with Diet Phantasma stuff. We get Ut Supra Sic Infra. As above, so below. And basically, we have some guy that dealt with something very tragic, very traumatizing, and the police want him to guide them through what happened. And from there, we see what happens. The standout is fun size. From the very beginning, we see people that are basically trick-or-treating, and there is a sign that says one per person. Well, you better obey the sign. And that is my standout. That is actually my favorite one, and I will tell you why here a little bit later on. And then we get Kid Print, which is based around a photo studio where a guy is basically taking pictures. So, parents have something to remember their kid by, and also there's somebody taking kids and basically torturing them or causing them to go missing. And then we have Home Haunt, which has a father and son doing one final yearly tradition of building their own haunted house thing. And with one particular twist, things go awry. So, yeah, that is pretty much it right there for the non-spoilers. I will say that, again, Fun Size Casper Kelly, give him a full project. Not that any of the other ones are bad. I did like Home Haunt. That was a fine ending. And I didn't mind Kid Print. The Ut Supra, or Supra, Sick Infra. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. That one was... Remember the one where the people had to escape the hospital and go through the tunnels? And how that one was, like, okay, but it wasn't, like, the best? Yeah, this one's less than that. And Coochie Coochie Coo is a fine opening, I will say that much. Not as good as Stork, but still pretty creepy. So, that being said, I am going to get into spoilers, and I'll talk about a few people that are in these particular movies. But yeah, if you get a little Easter eggs, you'll find out if you're into horror. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, yeah, the 8th entry, though. They really might want to go out on a high note, but I have a feeling they're just going to keep churning these things out. But if they do more stuff like this, then I'm for it. So, the Octagoncito Company, if anybody gets that, I love you guys. It's a weaponized drink of some kind of, it's got some dark, demonic shit going on in it. Where, yeah, you drink it and you explode. Or you get trapped. Like this one, the first guy barely drinks it and gets trapped by this can and killed and everything. And that was kind of cool. It's like possession and a demonic entity in a can, sort of. Coochie Coochie Coo has 2 girls that are dressed up kind of as babies. That, you know, they're in pajamas and stuff like that and whatever. They're dressed up like children. I don't know if the actresses are older than 19 or 20, I will say that. I mean, no ages are readily available, so these girls look like they could be just a little too old to trick or treat, but also young enough to where they could be put in this kind of peril, and it would actually sort of make sense. It wouldn't be like putting 35-year-olds in a Jason movie. They are, you know, waiting to go trick-or-treating, and some kids show up and just basically say, the mommy's gonna get you. Oh, yes, and by the way, they decide to show how stupid they are, the kids, or these 2 girls, by not only taking a bunch of candy, but also stealing candy from a kid that just happens to be walking with his parents. So I hate to say it, but they kind of got what was coming to them. They end up at this one house that just has all these weird strobe light things. And they knock on the door, or I believe Lacey. Yeah, Lacey's the one that does it because she's the more stupid of the 2. Kaylee's the one with the camera. By the way, yes, the found footage shit and all that. And nobody answers, so they go. And then suddenly the door opens and this basket sticks out, shaking it. And instead of immediately going away, Lacey goes in there, and then Kaylee goes in there. And then it turns out there's some fucked up shit. It smells like death. There's weird baby stuff all over. Oh my goodness, what the hell is going on? This, you know, now that I think about it, Stork also had something to do with children. Stork was better. Like, this is close, but Stork was better. Stork, I think, had a better payoff. But as they're trying to leave, the lady is there on the porch and shakes, and, you know, the basket falls out. Or the basket falls over, and a weird baby fetus thing, like we're in the PT demo, just shows up, but it's not in the sink. And it's real. Well, it's CGI, but still. Now all of a sudden they're trapped in the house. There's a weird, you know, fat baby guy, just like we're back in 13 Ghosts, just without the choppy editing. And it's a man baby, wah, as Derb would say. And yeah, they basically end up getting trapped in this house. There was talk of this missing girl a little bit earlier. The mommy has 6 tits. Each shit, 3-titted woman from a Total Recall. And then a missing girl in a cheerleader outfit with weird facial reconstruction to look more young. I don't know. I don't know how all this stuff was done, but whatever. The woman basically was pregnant. She died to be free. There's a noose hanging in the closet. Apparently David Carradine had this house. And the song plays Hush Little Baby, and this is after Lacey had been squeezed and everything and hugged to death. The silly bear hug. And she ended up passing out, and then basically Kaylee woke up and was going to do something, but nope. She couldn't do anything, and there was this stuff in this dirty house. Welcome babies, Lacey and Kaylee. And one of the lyrics of Hush Little Baby, this version is, I'll nurse you till you regressed. So yeah, that's it right there. That one was fine. Actually, that one was pretty good. At least it was a strong entry. I was worried that we were going to go the route of VHS Beyond and we were just going to go further down. Diet Phantasma, I told you to, basically do something with the fucking formula. And we go to As Above, So Below, which is a translation. Fun fact, the actress that played Veronica, yes, in that demonic film titled Veronica in 2017, is listed in the cast for this. So I'm just going to assume that this is some kind of origin story. Maybe this explains why Veronica was labeled as one of the scariest movies, despite the fact it fucking wasn't. So, it's in Spanish, so unless you understand Spanish, watch the screen. There's a guy named Enrique. He takes the police to this, weird portal area thing. This weird area that this Halloween party ended up at. And there was a woman named girl named Vicky, young girl, I think according to IMDb, she's like 20 or 21, and she's already willing to do roles like this, so good on her, because she was willing to go all out and do some crazy stuff. And they were going to investigate this whole thing of Roberta Marconi, who did seances, a bridge between the world of the living and the world of the dead. So basically, as we see spliced in with the camera footage of what happened and how Enrique came to be in this situation, and him with the police. I like the inspector woman. She was attractive. The one with the long hair kind of looked like Maggie Q. And Enrique, whatever, reads the whole thing, as above, so below, and he says it a few times. This phone that's just in the middle of the room on this stand, he answers it, and he hears the stuff, and he ends up, whoa, just all possessed. And then because he says it again, then he ends up possessed again, kills everybody, walks on the ceiling because he's Lionel fucking Richie of Spain. And pulls out, by the way, he vomited out eyes, and then he pulled out more eyes. The eyes of Enrique Mars, I guess. So yeah, more Diet Phantasma. That blonde was gorgeous. Right after that blonde was gorgeous. Good grief, with respect. So she ends up not dying, but ends up getting set on fire. So she doesn't die in the trial, but she dies because she gets set on fire. The subjects are lasting longer, and it is obvious that whatever is in this fucking can, whatever is in this formula, is trying to get out. And then we go to Fun Size, which is, I would see a full-length feature on this. I'm not fucking joking. I would see a 90-minute version of this. If, Casper Kelly can get the funding and have some fun do stuff like this and make it this fun and make it this well done. And it was a decent length. It was 20 minutes. I think. It felt like it was the longest of them, and not in a bad way. This was very fucking enjoyable. We have two people that are filming, this whole thing to make their own found footage movie. We get more trick-or-treating. See, that's what worried me at first, is we're getting more trick-or-treating, but this time instead of 2, like in Coochie Coochie Coo, we're getting 4. And I'm like, oh boy. Well, then Justin is best friends with Lauren, and I proposed to her. But Lauren doesn't really want to marry him, but did it to kind of, I guess, not break his heart, but you're going to break his heart when you fight. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. So there's some off-brand candy, and like one candy that this guy Austin tries, and he says it looks like a dong. And it's chewy and gooey. But it says 1 candy per person. Well, guess what he does? He takes 2. And then a hand pops up in the bowl. Oh, it's just a little trick. But then Lauren is shooting it, looks below, and there's no body. There's no arm sticking up. It's just the arm sticking up from the bull. And there is nothing below that. And what the hell is going on? And then Austin gets sucked into the goddamn... No, wait. Yeah, Austin gets sucked into that. And then there you go. Josh, by the way, I think is the guy's name. I apologize for getting this wrong. I swear I recognize the actress who plays Lauren, but I can't quite place it. The one that plays the blonde looks sort of familiar. Maybe she's been in a couple of those Tubi originals I've seen. But yeah, they end up trying to get away, but then the bull goes at them, and the bull sends them into another dimension, where they are at this factory. Just this random factory that seems empty and everything, except Fun Size is right there wearing a weird kind of, it's almost like the Electric State, robot helmet. I forgot the Electric State came out this year. That is how torturous some of these movies have been and how long 2025 has seemed. But every time, they try to get away from Fun Size. Fun Size will just be around anywhere. And there's also a little version of Fun Size. This is one of the rare things that indicates that short people should be, something to worry about. Worry about them with their little goddamn legs and kick them. Kick them. That's what they get for not being able to reach the second show. Don't kick people. That's wrong. Don't do it. Just listen to Randy Newman and know the short people got no reason. But every time they try to get away, Fun Size is right there. I mean, right there. And it's so well done. It's like Safe Haven. It's like Casper Kelly basically understood what the director of Safe Haven and that one other weird robot hybrid one was in 94, 99, I think it was 94. They understood. Casper Kelly understood every fucking bit about, how to do this. And basically the reason that candy looked like a dong is because people are turned into candy. Every part. We see Austin cut up. He had a key as a way to get out. But then that key ended up getting wrapped up in some candy. And yeah, that's why the packaging was, named after candy that nobody could name. Because it's random candy. It's not actually candy. It's not. It's good. This is good. I really like this one, is what I kept writing down constantly on my notes. I wrote it 5 times on my notes. And they managed to get the key for the lock where they're going to try to get out. But, yeah. The conveyor belt thing, he gets turned into a bunch of candy. And it's a nice, bit of, showing all kinds of candy coating. And then... the blonde tries to run away and then gets turned into candy. She gets a candy tube shoved up her ass with candy spraying out her face. It's like a jaw face breaker. It's like a franchiser, except less painful than watching a Shane Douglas match. Any Shane Douglas match. Singles, that is. Tag, he was fine, especially with Ricky Steamboat. But, so Austin's dead, the blonde's dead, whatever her name was, and now it is down to Josh and Lauren. And they climb up into the air vent because they can't get out. They try to get out the door with the lock, but it says 1 candy per person. And since they didn't stop them, that's why they're basically stuck. They get into the air vent that's actually a conveyor belt, and they're about to be chopped up. And then he tries to propose to her, just get married, even though nobody's a licensed priest or whatever, minister, unless Fun Size is. Mr. Miss, I don't know. But she says no. He says, what? He gets chopped up. She manages to kick a panel and get out. And she's on the street. And then turns around and Fun Size. And she's dead. So, yeah, there you go. That's the end of that tape. Except we get one false finish here. Kids see the bull. That blonde mother was fucking gorgeous. With respect, ma'am. Good God. And then, the daughter only took 1, but the son took 2. Is that alright? And then the bull flies at them. So seemingly Fun Size is just going to continue to do stuff. Give me a feature-length film of this. Give them a budget. Give him a budget to make it happen. Keep this tone. I will watch anything that Casper Kelly does. I'm serious. I may need to go to IMDb and see what else he's been up to because this was fun. This made it worth it. So then there's a kid drinking Diet Phantasma, and he blows up. Even though they're perfecting the formula, he blows up. So kid print, child photography, and there is somebody that is doing stuff and kidnapping kids, kidnapping teens. And I noted there's Tim, who owns a photo place, who tries to put a rush on photography. There's a guy named Miles, it's a tech guy. And then there's Bruce. And they said he doesn't like us to be, coming back here all the time and everything when he's working, like in and out and stuff like that. Almost like he's got something to hide. Bruce is killing people. He's killing kids. Tim finds this out when he tries to go back and get something about a missing kid that was just at, or missing teen that was just at his place getting a picture taken. And then he finds out about Bruce. There's this weird ritualistic stuff going on where he's killing a bunch of kids. And this isn't bad, but this is probably one of the most basic ones of it. Come down from Fun Size, I'll say that. They end up, the two that are surviving end up killing Tim, thinking that he was the mastermind of this, and then they run into, off screen by the way, Bruce killing people, killing them, and then they blame Tim on the news, and Bruce covers it up and basically says, I'll carry on the legacy, because now nobody's going to suspect him. Even if I question how in the world this stuff got cleaned up all this time, and where all these rooms were, and how nobody smelled anything. Did he use lye and bleach? More Diet Phantasma. And then we get 6 people. And a little girl is possessed and seemingly is able to absorb the formula. And now they perfected it, I guess. So, yeah, even though it almost escapes with the little girls alive. So I guess that means it's working. And that ship the damn drink. Don't think you should do that, but whatever. And Home Haunt. I do have to say, look up the directors of Home Haunt. There are a couple, I assume. Credit to the guy, and credit to him for landing that woman. Look at that woman, Micheline Pitt. With respect, ma'am. Good God. Like Kat Von D, but a dress designer and less problematic. So anyway, Home Haunt basically is a yearly tradition with a father named Keith and a son named Zach, where they were just making this haunted house thing and having fun. Weird goblin head and stuff like that, and it was fun. Well, now the son's older. He doesn't want to do this. The mother basically says, don't worry, I'll work on him. I have the magic. That mother is beautiful, by the way. I would love for her to work her magic on me. God forbid if any of these actors watch this. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I mean this kind of in a humorous way, but there were a bunch of beautiful women in this. Or a number of them. So, he goes to Janet's discount knick-knack paddywhack shop and goes to a staff-only place, finds a record, leaves some money on the counter for her, seemingly, and steals the record. A record he shouldn't have stole. Because now they go into the haunted house thing, and it's just typical stuff. There's a girl and her older sister, I assume. There's an older guy. There's husband and wife. There's Keith. There's his wife. There's the son. And the son's filming this stuff. They play the record, and it spins right round and catches fire right round, and then all hell breaks loose. Sheeted ghosts are attacking and killing. Because they keep going these other dimensions, these other rooms and everything. It's not an endless place. It's a freaking, it's a maze of terror, basically. And suddenly, they end up in a torture chamber where Billy Jack Haynes' Black Blood shows up. If you remember that, you were a deep cut WCW fan. And he does some killing, but then gets killed. And then there's a witch that attacks a young girl. And then starts flying around, ripping people apart. Which is kind of fun. Impales one kid at one point. A lot of child death in this one. A lot of child death actually in this episode, or in this entire movie. The directors have issues with children. I can identify children are little shits. They don't deserve to die, but let's be honest. They could be taught a lesson or two. Like, don't go near bees if you're Macaulay Culkin and My Girl. He had it coming, though. He really did. So, that was kind of funny with the whole thing of, pulling the kids apart and that kind of stuff. And then the goblin set comes alive and there are hands that get on the walls. Almost like this set is going to become a fully sentient being. And then we smash cut to the end. And then we get the Octagon Ceto Company releasing Diet Phantasma. It's scary how good it tastes. And there you go. That is VHS Halloween. The best entry since VHS 2, if we're being perfectly honest. It's right there. Right there with the very best. Again, the As Above, So Below tape was okay. Not great. Kind of meh. Kid Print was fine. But Fun Size, the standout of that, the fact that elevated it to 3 stars right there. That was the only good tape that would have elevated to 3 stars. But the fact that Coochie Coochie Coo is pretty good. And Home Haunt was a fine conclusion. The wraparound story, I've learned, outside of like VHS 2, doesn't really matter anymore. It just exists. If they do more like this, I'll be on board. But I almost think they need to end this on a high note, but they won't because people like me watch it. But A- for the entertainment, especially Fun Size in general. 3 strong tapes and really nothing terrible, just some stuff that was meh. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rittland, and until we investigate the tape library again, happy trails to you.